If there's one thing I've always been interested in, it's definitely tarot cards. The idea that you could read your future from them, or read your current situation, just from some cards, is absolutely mind-blowing to me. The other day when I was looking them up, I realized how many characters there were in the Major Arcana cards, and I told myself, hey, why don't we try drawing that? Now, there are 22 Major Arcana, so I'm only going to do 2 for this video, and maybe some more later on. I chose the Fool and the Magician. As usual, I went ahead and sketched both of the drawings up off camera, but this time I decided to actually ink it on camera. I had to change the angle though because it kept autofocusing on my hand instead of the drawing. In total, there are 78 tarot cards, but 22 are Major Arcana, and then 56 of them are the Minor Arcana. Both the Major and Minor Arcana have characters for their cards, but to be honest, that is a lot of, cards that I would have to draw from here on out. I might do it, I might not. I'm thinking just sticking with the Major Arcana, and then that's it. The major cards are quite literally a major force in your life, and it kind of gives off the main focus or serious message, while the Minor Arcana kind of stems off of that and then gives individual messages for the reading. That's what I've gathered anyway from what I was reading online. I'm not an expert on tarot cards, I just kind of like the way they look, and I like the idea of the supernatural teaching you or telling you your future and stuff like that. I think that that's cool. When it comes to the versions that I'm going to be drawing, I'd like to think that I'm taking some inspiration from the cards. I'm not necessarily redrawing them, because I just kind of want to see how it would be in my style instead. The art style on the cards do look cool though. The colors are flat and clean, and so is the line work. And it's not overly detailed, but you could definitely tell that each card has its personality for the character. The Fool's card is kind of really bright and sunny, and he looks happy going through the field, while he has a very flowy outfit on, and has flowers on it along with a little dog by the shore. So it's overall a very happy vibe to the card, and that makes sense because the whole point of the Fool is blissful ignorance, and is very careless and free, and that basically makes sense with the card that he's drawn on. So in correlation to the readings, basically if you get a Fool card, it kind of means happiness somehow in some way or some form, whether it's an event or if it's you or any of the sort. You're basically going to have some kind of lasting happiness somewhere in the mix. Now, after reading all of that, I kind of look back at my drawing, and I noticed that the Fool that I've done is a little bit more mischievous looking instead of happy looking, and although I really like the way he looks and how he came out and everything, I think I would have probably gone back and given him a different facial expression to kind of solidify the happiness. I mean, we could argue that he does look happy, it just looks like a mean happy and not a regular happy, but it just could be his facial expression in general. But from the way that I'm looking at it, it definitely looks a little bit more on the mischievous side, kind of like how I would see jesters in cartoons, and how whenever they would tell jokes, there would be some kind of mean intent under it. So in the future going on out, I'm definitely going to make sure I read way more in depth into a card and try and understand what the meaning is, so this way it's more accurate to the drawing that I'm going to be doing. I do think I did a better job on the second card, which is the Magician. It looks a little bit more accurate to the description, but I'll explain more about that when I get there. When it came for me to pick the colors for the Fool, I really wanted to do purple, and I think that's just because of, again, the whole Jester thing and how they wear a lot of purple. But looking at the card, it's definitely much more yellows, oranges, browns. It makes you feel very warm and inviting. So that's another thing that I think I might try and do, is carry on some of the colors. But like I said earlier, I'm not really looking to do the exact copy or basically just a redraw of it. I'm drawing my own version of what I believe the card would be instead. So I think I'll just take elements from cards more than anything. Also, since it has been like, I'm gonna say 2 weeks since I used this sketchbook, I completely forgot that I had to let the ink sit down and dry before I went ahead in with the markers. So I ended up smudging up a lot of the art, and I was like, damn. So I was thinking about creative ways to kind of like get around the mess that I made, especially around his face with a lot of the inking. So that's when I was like, hold on a minute, let me put freckles everywhere. And I absolutely love the way it came out. I feel like, number one, I don't do freckles enough, which is a shame. I should do it more often, honestly. It looks great. And number two, it's a great way to fix a mistake, and I honestly just really enjoy the way freckles look in general, so I'm very happy with how this piece came out. I feel like the different types of purple really mesh well together, and they're not, like, overly purple. Does that make any sense? It's not, like, very neon or bright or anything, but I feel like it all sits together well. I did use elements of yellow and gold. It's just, not the way the card used them, but I really do like how it looks, and I feel like yellow and purple worked so good together. So yeah, so this is the finished version of the Fool Tarot card, and let's move on to the next one. I forgot how it was also to ink on camera. Usually I just ink off of camera to take the stress off of myself, because I get my face really close to the paper. So when I'm filming, I can't do that, so I had to do it from a distance, and it did leave some difficulty for me, which means that I messed up in my line art a good amount, but that's okay. I went ahead and went back in and fixed where I needed to and thickened out some lines, and it ended up coming out exactly how I wanted, so I'm okay with that. I think I'm gonna maybe start putting line art back in the videos a little bit more. I feel like it gives like a nice change from what I usually do. Also, one of the best parts about this little mini-series is I finally get to use my washi tape more often, which I don't use a lot, and I'd like to because they give a nice look. Plus, it makes it look like an actual card instead of just a drawing on the paper. I'm trying out some different editing styles too, so maybe this way it gives you guys some more visual interest instead of just hearing me talk, which realistically might get boring. So hopefully the difference in angles and the B-roll definitely makes it look a little more enticing to watch all the way through and not get bored. Let me know how you like it, or if you don't. For the Magician card, what I did is keep some elements in there, like the infinity sign that's on his head, and the fact that he's holding a wand. I also kept the white robe and the pointed finger, but I just kind of changed the position of that. Overall, for the Magician, I really wanted more of a ethereal kind of look to him, one that looks like he is using magic or some sort of force around him, so it makes sense to do that. The original Magician card kind of looks like that to a degree, but I feel like I want to try and exaggerate that a little bit more, which I feel like I successfully did. The Magician card mostly means a sudden solution, so if you're having a problem with something, all of a sudden it'll go away, almost like it was solved by magic. That's why they called it the Magician. But realistically, things don't work like that, right? So it could be an illusion. So it kind of refers to how, you know, regular magicians will do illusions and it'll look cool at first, but then when you realize how it works, it's not really magic, it's just a trick to the eye. That's kind of like the same thing with the Magician card. Is at first it'll look like the problem is solved and everything is all good, but in reality, over time, things might kind of come back and, well, bite your ass. That's the only way things are gonna get solved, is if you confront them, not by making them go away by magic. So, if anything, we can kind of call the Magician a temporary solution to an issue, which probably makes the most sense. Magic is magic. It doesn't exist, and it's not really reliable when it comes to solving issues, because in the end of the day, you're going to have to face them. Although it may seem nice to have something solved real quick, you can't be too confident on that quick solution, because at the end of the day, a magician's job is to give you the old razzle dazzle. Basically make you feel like, wow, this is a great, awesome thing, and look at this trick, and look at the way this goes. But in fact, there's so much more to it than just a simple illusion or trick. I am gonna have to say that I really like this drawing. I like that there's kind of like a no eye thing going on, and there's a lot of things glowing and floating, kind of making it look magical or ethereal, and that's basically how he looks finished. Here are both of the tarot cards next to each other. I can't tell which one I like more. I absolutely love them both to death. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye.